In this video, I'd like to take a look at the random number generator method. It's a kernel method, so if we go into RI and take a look at kernel and then rand, you're going to see how you use it here. We call it with rand and we give it the max number that we want. So if we want a random number between 0 and 10, we put 10 in here and it's going to be a pseudo-random number between 1 and 10. So what does that mean, pseudo-random? Well, the only way to really get a truly random number is generate a random event. And any kind of method that's using a computer to generate a random number, you have to have a seed or something along those lines, some kind of algorithm. And at the base of it, it's still not a truly random number. You can eventually guess, if you have enough computing power and you have enough of a sampling of random numbers, you can actually figure out what those seeds are and eventually predict what the next random number should be statistically. And that's a weakness in some security systems because they rely on pseudo-random numbers. Now, where would you get a real random number? Well, you'd have to take a random event from nature. One source that I know of that's used often is radioactive decay, where they actually take like a Geiger counter and the spacing in between the decay blips, if you will, and they use that as the random number, and that's truly random. There's not going to be any pseudoness to that. There's no algorithm or anything. That just has to do with when the electrons in there decay into whatever orbit and get rid of their various components there. So that's really the only way to get a truly random number. And the problem there is that you're back to a sampling size, because if, say, you get 10,000 samples, well, at the end of 10,000 uses, you got to restart and then a pattern starts. So, well, a little bit too much on random numbers, but what I did to show how you can use this is I just devised a little guessing game, and this is available as one of the working files here. And we call the random number as the first thing we go in here, and we just set our num number to a random. So it's going to be a random number from 0 to 20, and then we're going to enter guesses. And so I have a little thing that says print, enter a guess, and then it goes out. Remember from other videos, we use the gets to actually get some input from the user, and then we chop off the carriage return that's on the end, and we change it to an integer. And then we sit and guess until we get the number. And we're using an until construct here, so as long as this is false, it's going to keep on looping. Once this is true, it'll kick out. So what happens is it takes the guess. If a guess is not equal to num, it's going to go ahead and see, well, is guess less than num? And it's going to say, oh, it's too low. If it's too high, it's going to, right here, we say if guess is higher than number, it's going to print out too high. And then it's going to call our get a guess again. And if we do get it, it's just going to dump out of this loop and put, good job, the number was, and whatever the number was. So let's go ahead and run this. And again, I'm in the same directory where I have the file. In order for this to work, you have to do that. So I'll enter a guess. I'll say, since I know that it's between 0 and 20, I'll enter 10 and do halving type strategy. Too high, 3, too low. So there we go, it's 4. So that's just a little simple game using that random number. Remember, it is pseudo-random, so be careful if you're going to use it for some high security thing where you expect it to be truly random. And have fun with it.